Alright, what we're going to be doing today is working on this EVGA X17, and it has a scroll wheel issue. Like, you'll be scrolling down and it will try to scroll up while you're scrolling down. Just a generally glitchy scroll wheel, and we're going to try to fix that today. And the good news about this repair is that you shouldn't need any parts or anything. You just have to take the mouse apart and clean the encoder on the inside, and I guess I'll try to show you how to do that. Usually the hardest part about working on mice is getting to the screws underneath the skates without destroying the skates, because if these get bent up or messed up in any way, it is really annoying to use the mouse on your mouse pad. Like, your skates won't be as smooth. Hopefully this will be a quick video today. I think I'm going to try plastic eraser blade, and honestly it is pretty difficult to take these off without messing them up. On these EVGA X17 and X20 mice, I believe there's a screw here, screw here, screw here, and a screw here. I can't remember if there's one under here or not. There might be, but we'll start here, here, and here. And like I said, you want to be really careful taking these off, because you want to be able to reuse these. I haven't even seen replacement mouse skates for the X17 and X20. So we'll try to see. I bent it up. That's going to be really annoying, but you kind of have to do something like that to get them off. And it's really annoying because these skates have two layers. There's the outer layer and then an adhesive layer. You want to try to get them off both at the same time in one piece, but it honestly is kind of hard to do. So I'll just try to peel this guy off without bending it or destroying it as much as I can, which I bent it up pretty good. We'll put it up there. See, and then this is the other layer, which you want to try to get them off both at the same time. I'll try a regular razor blade. Alright, so there's our first screw. We got to do that there, there, and I think there too, but we'll find out. Try to get this one off all in one. Oh, see, that's why I don't want to use a regular razor blade, really. Alright, first screw, second screw. I believe there's two under here. I think that's the best ways. Use something metal, peel it up a little bit, and then use something plastic and try to Alright, that worked worked a lot better. I wish I would have done that for all of them. And see, 2 more. And we'll just go ahead and pull that guy up too, just so we know for sure. I think there actually might be a screw under there, but you're about to find out, aren't we? Yep, there is. And once you kind of get it down, they come off pretty easy. Just want to be careful about those, most important part. So now we can go ahead and unscrew this guy. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this fix should work with the X17 and the X20. They should be about both the same because they're basically the same mice, just one wired, one wireless. So and I don't know why, but there's a BD there. That must be quality assurance check mark or something. All right, there's our screws. And then just take this thing apart. I think there's like clips that hold it together. And it just pulls apart like that. And there's 2 ribbon cables. On the X20, I believe there's 2 ribbon cables and a battery connector. So just be careful of that. Unhook that guy and unhook that guy. And so we can put this to the side for now. And we have to get to the mouse scroll wheel assembly. Zoom in a little bit. All right, so to get to the mouse scroll wheel assembly, there's a screw here, 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 a screw there. And I don't believe we missed any, but if we did, we will find out. It's really hard to unscrew things and still keep them in frame. Probably just speed this part up anyways, so. And I believe that is all of them for this assembly. Is there one more? No, I don't think so. All right, and so we can put the shell aside, and this is what we need to get to for right now. All right, so this is our prize. We still need to get this guy off, which I believe we have to remove this little PCB, which has 2 screws and 2 connectors on it. Be careful of the ribbon cable and the encoder connector, which is what we need to get to, is the encoder. Unplug that. Pop that guy off. Put this aside for now. All right, so now that we have that stuff apart, we just have to get this whole white plastic assembly off right here. And I believe it's just held in there by 2 clips. So this part right here needs to bend out. I guess I can zoom in a little more just to show you. So this little black tab right here bends. You need to bend that out. And then this whole white plastic assembly should just pop out. Be careful not to break that tab, because then your mouse won't be stable. So it kind of went out of focus here. I'll do it again just so you can hopefully see this metal tab, or this plastic tab. It bends out. All right, so we'll do it one more time just to show you, because it is kind of tricky a little bit. So this little black tab, pull it back and push the white one forward, and it just pops out just like that. And then this is what we need to get to. We'll set the rest of the mouse aside for now. So this is our prize right here. What we need to do is get to this encoder right here. This is the encoder, and I'll show you what we need to do to fix that. It's basically just take that thing apart and clean it, because they do get dirty. And I think EVGA puts a little bit of like grease on the encoder, and the grease like seeps into the metal contacts and causes a glitchy scroll wheel. So we just basically need to take that apart and clean it. And to take that encoder off, there is a screw right here. It's hard to do while showing you. Just carefully unscrew this. You don't want to lose your screw. And then this encoder should just pull straight off now. So we can put our scroll mouse wheel aside for now. And this is our prize. This is our encoder. And what you could probably do is just spray a bunch of like contact cleaner inside of the encoder and, spin it a bunch. But if you're this far, you might as well go all the way and just undo these 4 tabs and take the encoder apart and really make sure to get it clean. So we'll go ahead and do that. You just got to bend these little 4 tabs. Be careful not to break them, because then your encoder will not go back together very well, or at all. All right, so try a razor blade, I guess. Hopefully not cut myself. Go under the tab and bend it up. Go under the tab, bend it up, and just want to do that with all 4 of them. And once you got them bent up a little bit, you can use the tweezers. Carefully open them. That one is probably a little too much. You want to bend these as least as possible, because they do have to bend back. Once you got all your tabs bent up, this thing should just come apart, and that metal piece comes off, and behind that there's a little springy, geez, I need something. We're gonna have to use 2 tweezers for this. So behind that there's this little metal springy bit that just comes right off. You want to be careful of the orientation this metal piece goes on, because this is what gives your mouse wheel its clicks, is these cogs in the plastic wheel and this little metal springy bit. The indentation faces the cogs. Set that aside. And then what we need to get clean is right here. These little, this plastic piece and these contacts. So we got to clean these contacts, and then there's little tiny metal fingers, on this. And you know what? Here, I'll pull out my microscope. All right, so hopefully you can see this. As you can clearly see on the microscope, there is some sort of grease on the inside of the contacts, and that is what messes these scroll wheels up. Is honestly, I don't know why they put grease on the encoder, because it really doesn't need it. What I'm assuming they put grease on, these little metal cogs, but it leaks inside the encoder and causes a glitchy scroll wheel. So basically all we have to do is clean up that grease with some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and we'll also clean these little tiny metal fingers, which you have to be really careful with these because you don't want to break them. Oh, as you can see, this one is already damaged, and that is just from use. So we're going to have to be really careful about that to try not to break that or ruin it any further. So yeah, we'll go ahead and clean these guys up a little bit. Yeah, once you clean them, you can put them back together. And just see how much cleaner that already is. You just want to clean this really good because remember that grease leaked into there, so there's grease on this black encoder, so you want to clean the whole thing so grease doesn't leak in there again. So yeah, for a while these mice, these X20 and X17s, were like 15 bucks on Amazon. They were like the best, cheapest gaming mouse you could buy, and literally the only thing wrong with them is the scroll wheel would start to mess up after a while. Literally the worst part about them was the scroll wheel, but you can fix them pretty dang easily. Don't even need any parts. You just, takes some time, half an hour depending on your experience. See, look how much cleaner that looks. And we'll clean this guy a little bit. I don't know about that bent finger. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that or not. If I try to fix that, I might just break it and make it worse, but we'll see what we can do. We might be able to pull it out of there. So we'll very carefully clean this guy. I will actually put this in my isopropyl alcohol and shake it around to make sure it's, as clean as it can get. So yeah, maybe we can very carefully don't want to lose this. Now let's see if we can very carefully fix this finger. And these are just held on by plastic rivets, so you gotta be really gentle and careful with this. And I wish I had a better way to hold this. Hopefully this microscope has good video, because this is a new one. I haven't used it yet, so I don't know how the video is going to turn out. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so hopefully we can fix this without ruining this finger. There we go. Now we just got to bend the inside one up just a little bit. See if we can do that without breaking it. You know what? I think we're just going to call that good. I'm not going to press my luck any further, I don't think. So once that's smashed together, that will sit pretty flush. So I'm just going to call that good. All right. So hopefully you know what to do now. So yeah, just clean these two parts, clean the whole encoder, put this whole thing in isopropyl and like shake it. Yeah, I think you get the point. So I'm going to put the microscope away and go back to the big camera. All right, so what I'm going to do just to make sure this is all clean with no more grease on any of it is I have this little bottle of isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to put all of these bits in here, even the connector. It won't hurt anything. Just go in there. I'm just going to shake it for, a minute or two. Yeah, I have no idea why EVGA put, or I guess it might have not have been EVGA, but whoever they got their encoders from definitely put some grease like on them and it leaked into them. So I'm sure this is a very, very common problem on the EVGA mice. And I've fixed like 2 or 3 of them this way already so far. So I'm sure it's thousands. So if your EVGA mouse is glitching the scroll wheel when you scroll, don't throw it away. Take it apart and clean it. All right, now we can put this thing back together. And it's pretty simple the way you took it apart in reverse. So obviously the fingers are going to go towards the contacts on there. And this little metal spring, which I already said the indentation faces those cogs and goes in those 2 little locating pins. And then this guy goes back on there. Just like that. And then you want to make sure it's seated all the way closed and pinch it all the way together. And then just push these tabs back in as good as you can. And make sure they're bent in as much as possible to keep the encoder closed tight. And then it should be all the way flush back together. And then you can use your tweezers to make sure it spins. And I think it feels better not greased because there's even more of a click in between the scrolls. But I don't know, that's just me. All right, so now we can put this mouse back together. So first things first is this guy. I should note that you want to be really careful of these 2 springs right here. These can come off and those just go right there, and that's what lifts your mouse wheel back up for the middle click. So you just want to be really careful with these springs also. They should stay on this white plastic piece pretty good though. And this is a good time that if you want to clean your scroll wheel, you can, because it's a lot easier. And if you want to take this apart, you can just take it off because it just pops up. Here, I'll go ahead and show you if I can. It just opens like that. And then like that. And then perfect time to clean your scroll wheel. It's a lot easier to do it while it's outside the mouse. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I don't mind it how it is right now. So all right, and you just basically push it back down to get it back on there, make sure it's seated, and you're good. All right, back to the encoder. It goes on like this, and it goes on to this little piece attached to the scroll wheel. Once you have it on, you can feel the clicks. And then put the big headed screw back on. All right, and then you can put it back into this guy. And what I do is there's a little pin right here on the front, black pin. You just put it in position like that. And be careful of your little cable. And you have to be careful because there is see that screw hole? It has to, that little screw hole has to fit in that hole. So this screw post has to fit in the white piece of plastic hole. I'm probably way over explaining this, but just in case anyone needs it, hopefully it's not a waste of time. We'll go ahead and zoom it back out a little bit because we're, getting put back together. Next is this piece, which the encoder plugs into right here. Oh, is it that way, or I think it's this way? Yep, there we go. And then you're going to want to make sure you don't forget this little tiny ribbon cable, because otherwise your scroll wheel will not work. Put it in. Push this black clip down on the connector. And you can screw this guy back in. There's some small locating pins right here that the PCB has to fit into, right here and right here. I just want to note really fast that if your mouse is double clicking on its own, this would be, these are the switches, the left mouse and right mouse. You'll replace these switches, and I did do a video on that on a different mouse. It's called Corsair double click repair. It's basically, this basically goes for almost any mouse with these switches that double clicks. You just replace these switches, or if you want to, you can take it apart and try to clean them. But like I said in the video, it's just better to replace those switches. So yeah, just thought I would mention that really fast. All right, once you have that PCB back in, you can go ahead and grab your top shell. And this is going to be your, your shift button. You have to be careful that that is, located how it's supposed to be. You don't want it to be like, that. You just want it to be how it's supposed to. And that will be one of these side buttons. But all right, so that just kind of goes back in. And before you put any screws in, you want to make sure this button works, which right now it's not working. So all right, there we go. You want to make sure that clicks before you start putting screws in, because if you put screws in when that's messed up, you're gonna have to take it back apart. All right, so we can put these screws all together. So we're all back together on the top shell part. You just want to check and make sure all your stuff is clicking, just to make sure you got everything located properly. And everything looks good. That middle scroll even feels better. Just has a little more resistance to it. I do really prefer the like Logitech G502 scroll wheel. I love how it's metal, and I love how you can freewheel it. I use that all the time on mine, where I just, you can click that button and it turns into like a freewheel, and you can just spin it and it keeps spinning. And I love those type of scroll wheels so much better. I really like the shape of this mouse, and I really like how it feels. I kind of wish this button was slightly lower down. I don't really like how you have to lift your thumb up to click it. I kind of wish it was like right there and I could just, but I wish these were a little more ergonomic as well. It's hard to describe. A little more like rounded, like more formed to your thumb a little bit. And perhaps this one as big as this one, but like slightly, a millimeter or two down. But I really like how this mouse is shaped like this. It's really nice feeling in the hand like this, especially for a cheap $15 mouse. I think the price has gone up on them, but I got this one on sale for like $15 on Amazon when it was on sale. But gosh, I think they're like 40 now or something like that. But they're pretty good, like ergonomic feeling mice. The one thing I really like about this mouse is how light the click is. It's a very light clicking mouse, and I really like that. But yeah, I'll stop talking about that stuff and let's just continue the. Sorry, I had to go on a little tangent, but we'll go ahead and finish putting this thing back together. Can zoom you out just a little bit more. All right, now all we got to do is put the two ribbon cables back onto here. And like I said, on the X20, on the X20, there's a third connector, and it's for the battery. So yeah, just be careful when you're taking this thing apart not to rip those. All right, try to do the longer guy first. Goes right in there. Push your connector down. This is going to be, I don't know if I can do this and show you guys. So yeah, we just got to put this last ribbon cable in. I'm sure you can understand that. So I'm just going to do it. All right, got the last ribbon cable in. And now we just put this thing back together. This kind of just has like clips that you kind of just, from what I remember, and get the front put in there first and just click it back together. Just plastic clips. All right, now we can just put our last screws back in. All right, just making sure it all feels good. Feels pretty great. Oh. Our button got messed up when we clicked it back together. That's not good. All right, we're gonna have to undo these. All right, just was in the wrong spot once we clipped it together. Working great now. If I had to do it over, make sure this clicks before you start to put your screws in. Final thing, we put our hopefully not damaged skates back on. And you really want to get these located perfectly in the grooves, because if they're sticking up out of the grooves, they can catch and mess up your gaming experience. And they never ever fit as good as before you take them off. So that's why there really needs to be replacement skates for the X17 and X20, because I would like to just put brand new ones on. I guess what you could do is just put some generic skates on, like just generic skates, but I like to have the proper skates that are supposed to be on the mouse. That bottom one came off and went on pretty dang good. I wish I could have done all of them that well. And like I said in the beginning, there's two layers. There's an adhesive layer and a slick layer. You want to try to get these both off in one go so they're not taken apart like this, because it really sucks to have them taken apart. And over time, after like using your mouse for a while, these will start to fit on better and like flatten. So it's just kind of annoying. All right, that's about as good as I can get them. And like I said, it's the hardest part is getting these off without ruining them, because I really suck at it. I'm sure some of you probably be really good at it, just can take them off really easily, but not me. I suck at it. So if your skates lose their stickiness after you take them off and put them on or whatever a few times, you can get some adhesive spray and just take them off, flip them over, spray adhesive spray on them, let the adhesive spray dry, and then they'll be sticky again. So just in case anyone needs that. All right, got those on about as good as I'm going to get them. I guess we can go and test out our mouse. And yeah, it should be good to go now. Because yeah, you saw the grease inside the encoder, and that is what's wrong with these X17s and X20 mice. The encoder gets dirty. Grease gets inside of them somehow. I don't know. Big mistake on EVGA or their manufacturer's part. But yeah, encoders don't need grease, guys. And you know me, I'm using grease on everything, so they must really not need grease. All right, I think we're good to go. I think this is the end of the video. I guess maybe I can just show you the scroll wheel working really fast. So yeah, hopefully this helps someone. I'm trying to keep some of these EVGA mice out of the landfill. So if this helped one person, it was worth it. So yeah, I'll stop rambling, and yeah, thank you for watching my video. And we're at about 35 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. If you guys want to subscribe, I would definitely appreciate that. So yep, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you later. All right, guys, so I just figured I'd show you the scroll wheel. So this is a a mouse test website, and it counts your scrolls ups and your scrolls down. And as you can see, we are only scrolling down. When it's glitchy, it will do a scroll up every now and then, which I guess I should have showed you that before we worked on it, but I didn't think about it. So it's only scrolling down and only scrolling up. So yeah, working great. So I just figured I'd throw that in there. Sweet. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. Take it easy, guys. Oh yeah, just one final thing. Should probably do this. Huh. There we go. Just in case anyone's OCD was kicking off. So, yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.